Hey guys, Anthony 4 Before Diesel here. We've got a story and we've got a whole heap of problems, and we're probably going to come across many more. So this is going to be one of those ones where they pick it up and they turn up with a trailer load of slabs, I think. Anyway, let's show you what some of the problems are. Let me give you a bit of a background. So if I remember the story correctly, he's picked up this vehicle only about a month ago. It's done about 200,000 Ks. You can see it's been worked on a lot. You can see, look, bonnet's been off, so does that mean it's had an engine put in it? Possibly, and a whole lot more. So look at the nuts and bolts over this side. Yep, same thing over there, right? So straight away you're going, oh, what's going on here? If I was looking at this, it's got aftermarket hoses and hose clamps. Looks like a HQ Holden, mate, you know? Anyway, what do we got? We've got the flat pancaked injector clamps. So we know they've been on and off heaps. We've got oil leaking out the valve cover around the solenoid and maybe the fuel pipe. Oh yeah, the alignment, you can see the alignment of the injector. This thing's a mess. This is what happens when people start working on cars and they don't know what they're doing. They haven't watched my videos. Subscribe, turn the bell on, there's so much to learn. Look at the comments. Don't believe me, believe the people making the comments saying it's another awesome video every time. Let's make it one of those, hey? How about all the regular viewers go to the effort to make a comment on this video about the content, right? Now, I'll give you the story. So he does the right thing. He texts me, however you say it. You know what people say, texts me. That just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Texts me or text. This is me? Yeah, whatever it is, whatever you want anyway, right? This is not English lessons, right? Okay. So he texts me and he says, yeah, you know, I think he's got this car, whatever the story is, and it's going to be a little bit too hard for me. But look, what happened is he's picked up the vehicle. What you got to remember is people are often selling their problems, okay? And as obviously he is selling. As soon as you see a vehicle with a catch can on it, one of the other problems, straight away you go, this guy doesn't listen to Anthony, and you don't buy the vehicle, okay? Because bada bing, right? That's another story. Let's not go there. You know what I mean if you watch the videos. But anyway, moving forward, he's purchased the vehicle, you know. What is it, an 07 we said? 07, 08, somewhere around there like that anyway. It's one of the older ones, you know, 25 grand or something. I know, it's COVID, it's just out of control, you can't get cars. You know, this guy's gone, this is my assumption, could be wrong, reserve the right to be wrong again. You know, I can't fix this bloody thing, so I'll sell it. So he's probably blown it up because he doesn't listen, the other owner. He's probably had the oil pickup block, you know, it's probably done more Ks, or who knows, right? Oil pickup's blocked, or cracked a piston because injectors, and you can see the sort of things that might have gone, who knows. Then he's gone, oh yeah, he's put an engine in it, and then whoever did that's left a vacuum line off, something wrong somewhere, we don't know what. He's tried to fix it, and the reason I say that, because when we're using a steel bar to lengthen every tool to undo the nuts and bolts, someone very heavy-handed's worked on this vehicle, okay? So that's one thing we found. And he can't fix the problem, and he's gone, bugger it, I'll sell it, right? And everybody should know this. With a P0400, it normally takes about 20 Ks at least to come up if you've got a hard fault. So if you've got a permanent problem, it doesn't necessarily come up straight away. It can take about 20 Ks, right? So the guy sells the car, they road tested it, yep, no worries, whatever, all good. Get the car, next day, engine light comes on, right? Well, you know, funny that, isn't it? I'm sure not everybody, I should stop saying everybody, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced something like this or know someone that has, right? And that's because, like I said at the start, people like to sell their problems. And that's not a problem, because we've got a solution for every problem, or almost every problem. Sometimes it's sell the car again, but that doesn't help the next person, does it? So proper solutions are the solution, and that'll have you with good karma, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. So, you know, you may as well fix it up and keep it, and that's what we're going to do. I just want to run through a few of the other problems though. This is what we believe's happened. So then the new owner, we'll say Sam's his name, I think, if I remember correctly. I've got that many cars and people going at the moment. Anyway, reserved the right to be wrong again. Sam, they've gone, well, you know, they've probably done a bit of a search about the problem, found my videos, or maybe they were already onto them before, I'm not sure. Gone, okay, well, you know, we'll sort that out, we'll just pull it apart and fix it. Now, the problem is, when you get into this is why you've got to watch the whole video, and not just that video, all the videos in the VIP group before you work on your vehicle, because there's so many pitfalls to be avoided. And when you come across tight nuts and bolts, which we have, and I can only assume maybe they were already like that, when they've gone for this one down the bottom here, and I'll just quickly try and get down there and show you the problematic one at the moment. It's in an awkward position down here, right? No, not that one. It's down there somewhere, not that one. Yeah, that one. That's it. Have a look at that. That's what we've got to deal with, right? So that used to be a 12mm that in our videos will say if you undo these sorts of nuts and bolts around this area, I recommend you only use single hex. That's a 6-point socket, not 12-point. Otherwise, that could happen. You need to make sure it's on. These bolts are so easy to undo. I've never had a problem, to be quite honest. The tools I've always fitted. Doesn't matter how tight they are, using the right tools, never had a problem. We've got a problem here because what happens when you put a 12mm on there? Nothing. It's not going to work. So we're going to come up with a solution. We're not sure what it is, but at this point I went, it's time to start a video. There was plugs loose, there was things left unplugged, there's clamps, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to start from scratch. We're going to strip the thing down, we're going to clean it all up, we're going to put new squirters, new everything, because we don't know what the history is. It ran reasonably, so we know it's not a, it's not a write-off, if you know what I mean. So with new squirters and everything cleaned up, it should be Mickey Mouse, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's still got the P0400, because there could be something here that we haven't found, or people who worked on it, they damaged things. This is not a Toyota problem. You can see that even down the bottom there. See down the middle of the picture now. See that wiring loom, the clamp, that zip tie. It's not even done up. So wiring looms have been off. Wires could have been yanked. It could be anything. This is one of those ones. Could be a can of worms. Could be a real mess. We'll try and let you know in this video or another one. We're already at 6 minutes. We're trying to keep them short. But just sharing some of the stuff we've got to deal with, and some of the solutions are on our channel, so it pays to watch all the videos. You know the deal. Subscribe, turn the bell on, smash the like button if you're learning something. We'll continue with this and let you know what works. To be quite honest, you know what I love doing? I've got an awesome set of Irwin vice grips there. Now, they're going to be awkward to get in there, but I think I've got enough room, and I might try that. But it looks like somebody's had a good crack at it. We might try the 11mm and hammer it on. We might go, so what's between... The next one down from 12mm, guys and girls, is 7/16 Imperial. So we might give that one a crack next. Let you know how we go. Okay, 10 hours later. No, just joking, it's not quite that bad. Okay, I just want to run through what we did. So we tried a number of different sockets and tools and bits and pieces on what we could get on down there. And as much as we seemed to get a really good grip on it, it wouldn't come loose. And I had the long breaker bar, I had the, what is it, 2 or 3 foot long handle breaker bar on the socket. And we had a lot of pressure on it. So part of the problem is the bolt was done it way too tight in the first place. So we can't just blame who worked on it last rounding it. I mean, using the right tools when it's tight may have helped prevented that, but I don't know, I wasn't there. So combination problem, or we can just blame the person that tightened up too much in the first place. So next step was, look, personally, I don't mind the chisel. The bolt's wrecked anyway. It always succeeds in the end. You just got to try and get it right the first time, but it is a risk, and once you go there, there's no going back. You've completely destroyed it. So one more thing I wanted to do before that was allow more access. So obviously we took the VSV off the side of the bracket here, the vacuum lines, what we could. It was very difficult, but around that side we got all the EJAR valve and everything off out of the way. So you can imagine those upside down bolts, trying to get to those with this in the way. It was ridiculous. But my whole idea is get that out of the way, and then you know how when you tighten something up, like you're tightening up a clamp, or when you want to align, you've got your battery terminal there. Yeah, battery terminal is a good one, and you've got the connection there, and you do up the nut and it twists that last terminal. I'm just looking at that damage on that wiring loom there as well, so you're always distracted, but I just noticed that as well. Yeah, that's nasty. That's been rubbing on something as well. That's not cool. Anyway, we'll have a look, we'll make sure it's not too bad, and we'll tape it up a bit. Make sure it's not rubbing is the main thing. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. When you tighten up the terminals and the whole thing twists, you don't want it to, you've got it lined up where you want it to. And the same thing when you go to loosen it, they often twist. So what I'm hoping is now, rather than have to sit there chiseling for ages and maybe it wouldn't work out for us, it's in a very awkward position. We don't want to have to pull the whole manifold off necessarily. Although I'm looking in there, no, it's pretty good actually. It's a bit messy at the top there. It's going to be the usual clean. We don't want to have to make a manifold job out of it unnecessarily, because cha-ching, 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 it's going to cost him even more. So what I'm hoping is we get one of our best tools that fitted on there, which gave us very good grip, and at the same time as trying to undo it, we twist the bracket. So we push the bracket clockwise, and then while we're trying to undo the bolt head, we pull the bracket this way as well. And when the bracket twists and the bolt twists with it, so the bracket's kind of, you've got the resistance under the head of the bolt, under the flange, if you know what I mean, down under here, gripping to the bracket. So if we can get the bolt turning with the bracket, we know the bolt's loose enough that there's hope. And then hopefully the bolt continues where the bracket doesn't, because the bracket's going to come to the end point, you know what I mean? So I believe we're going to be able to move that no problem. So a little bit soon in the video we'll demonstrate that, and we're just about at that point now, yeah? Okay, well, it might be a bit hard. We need all our hands. So that's what we're going to do. I hope I've explained it well. We're going to pull the bracket forwards towards the front of the vehicle at the same time as we're trying to crack the bolt. So let's do that and see what happens. We're just mucking around here. We're just going to demonstrate kind of what we did, and I'll explain to you. See that? So we didn't do it quite like that. This is what happened. It wasn't that easy. What happened was, so I had, what do we call you again? I had Johnny here, right? This is nickname for the videos, right? Johnny was here, and he had I said no need for any heavy tools, because the twisting the bracket's what's going to work, right? So what we did first, we're twisting the bracket back and forward a little bit, and it worked. And I saw the bolt head moving with it, so that's what I expected. And I went, okay, now put the tool on and try and undo it. It still wouldn't undo. So the socket with enough pressure wanted to slip. And so I said, what you do is you keep maximum pressure on it without it slipping. I had the gloves on, the heavy duty gloves, and I grabbed the bracket and I was pushing back and forwards. And then at some point the bolt just spun further without the bracket, exactly as the plan. So that was easier than chiseling the bloody thing, wasn't it? Yep. How many slabs, we have to work out how many slabs that was for the mucking around getting that. Mate, what have we been wasting? Couple of hours at, we're good, so we're what, 220 an hour, 2 people, 2 hours, 440, that's about bloody 10 slabs or something. No, what we'll say is here, I reckon, to be quite honest, the amount of time wasting here, we're going to let that go for 3 slabs of Heineken, yeah? What do you reckon? Are you happy with that? I'll work for free on this one. I reckon for you deserve 3 slabs of Heineken on top. All right, so that's that. We'll send the video to the client and see what he reckons, eh? And what we're going to do, as I said, I got distracted before. We found this damage on the wiring here. You weren't here when I talked about this, but you've probably seen it already. So we're just going to have a look at those wires, make sure there's no damage deeper. We'll just have a bit of a look around, and then we're going to tape it up so it doesn't get any worse, and we're going to make sure that it's not rubbing. While we're at it, you know what, let's chuck a bit of tape on these wires over here. I know that's factory, that's how they are, but let's tape them up a little bit. Not too much, because I think, is that where it bends, and that's why they do it, so it's got to flex, whatever. So we're going to make it just as good as factory or better. I'll go and dig out one of those bolts so we can put a nice shiny new one in there. I'm pretty sure we've got those in stock as well. All right, let's continue. Important information before we end this video. Okay, so you know I've already made my summary, and I'm making assumptions, but it's educated assumptions. This is what we do. We deal with this sort of stuff all the time, and we pointed out, see up at the bonnet there, at both the brackets each side, the bonnet's been off. Why is the bonnet been off? Well, could have been in a bingle, but I'm looking around just briefly here. It looks fairly original. I'm not saying there's paint and whatever down around here, anything extensive really. Look, I don't know. I haven't looked that hard, but I don't think the bonnet's been off for accident repair. I think it's been off to put another engine in it. So I reckon, see how the bonnet, you know, you were here again for that. See how the nuts and bolts all been. So I reckon the bonnet's been off for an engine being in and out, and that's why I reckon someone's done all this work, and that's why that wiring loom's had all that rubbing over there. But how is this raveling? What am I going on about? Blah, 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 blah. What did I say? Waffling on too much. Oh, well. Okay, why am I waffling on about it? Well, remember the whole problem in the first place. He picked up the car. Oh my God, look at those hose clamps there, those HQ Holden hose clamps, right? You know, how did you get in there and do that? Well, they had the engine out, right? That's why they did it, because they probably wrecked the old ones. Anyway, see how the end of the hose clamp was rubbing on the hose, and I don't like that, so we're going to need to look. So we need to fix all this stuff up. Hopefully it's reliable for him, right? Hopefully. Fingers crossed, what haven't we seen yet? Anyway, should be right. No, we'll make it better. Come on, Anthony, get on with the point. What are you trying to say? Okay, so if they put an engine in it, why did they put an engine in it? Okay, back to the original problem. He's got an engine light. The engine light came on the next day. They got it scanned. It was a P0400. P0400's low EJAR flow. Why did that happen? Now, unless we find a problem here from them leaving a vacuum line off or something like that, which it could be, because they do that when they put engines in. It could be something. We're going to get to that. all part of that. We're going to check the manifold underneath. You know, the two vacuum lines, the white and the green. The bottom one is meant to be the green one. The white one's the next one up. It could be as simple as those have been left off, right? So we're going to get to that. We haven't done that yet, but we're checking everything up here first. But if we don't find anything, then I've got to make the next assumption, and I've got to go, well, it's cracked a piston. When it cracks a piston, you get all this oil in the intake because, of course, it's pushing oil out the exhaust, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, trust me, it gets oil in the intake, right? And one thing from having oil in the intake, that means you get oil going through one way or another without wasting too much time here. Inside the E-jar cooler gets oil in it. And we know what happens. The oil is the glue for the soot. That's why we already know the intakes, you know, they get a bit of mess like that, right? And that one's not too bad, so it doesn't need a manifold job at the moment. We need to clean that, look further, but at the moment we don't believe we need to waste time on that. We can make it look shiny, waste of time. But inside this E-jar cooler, it's like a radiator. There's really thin, it's about 2mm openings. You get oil in there, then you get the soot going through there. Before you know it, it's blocked. So if whoever put this engine in swapped all the components over and didn't wash out this E-jar cooler, which is very difficult to do. So whenever you've got a cracked piston engine replacement job, you must clean out this E-jar cooler. Now, don't get me wrong, if you said, oh, I've done an engine and I didn't clean it out and I didn't have any problem, well, you got lucky, okay? We don't run on luck. If you have a cracked piston, this E-jar cooler needs to be cleaned out, or it's just a risk that you get a P0400 and then there's no other solution other than cleaning it out, which means you've got to have your nice brand new engine, new pipes, new injectors, and you've got to pull these pipes off again and clean it out, right? So my point is, if we don't find anything why there would be a P0400 that's obvious, because looking at this end it doesn't look blocked. People go, oh, looking in there it doesn't look blocked. Yeah, that's cool. I'm talking about in here, right? Inside this part here that you can't see. So, to recap before we finish up, if we don't find something obvious why there would be a P0400, we need to clean out the E-jar cooler while the fuel pipes are off, which is adding how many more slabs? That's going to be a few more slabs as well. Mate, get yourself a trailer because you can't bring the ute load. We've got your ute here. You're going to need to get yourself a trailer to pick up this car. And different engine number?
Same engine.
Same engine number, so it's the original engine, okay. Okay, so he's been doing his homework. Like, you know, look at this, mate. He's got the, you know, look at that. There it is. He's on the, see? Mate, mind reader. So it's got the original engine number, but what? How do you know it's original? How they could have updated the engine number?
No, it was updated at 2006.
It doesn't tell you when it was.
RSCV entry date. They entered 2006.
Do you reckon that would update though? I mean, we don't know their IT systems that well. If they put a new engine number in, what's the engine? That's what we need to do. Look into KD. KD71. Oh, it's like the VIN number, right? It's in the VIN number as well.
No.
79. Yeah, then part of the
engine
number's
number
the same.
is that engine number there.
Yeah.
I just double checked.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but they could have got a new. What I'm saying is they could have got another engine and got it updated at Vic Roads. Yeah, that's what you meant to do. Anyway, we're just having a discussion here. This is how we roll. We could stop the video, but we're sharing all the information with you. All the people that don't want that, they're gone already. It's all good. So yeah, I don't know. Look, it just looks. Why would you have the bonnet off? You know. So we're making assumptions, like I said. But it could have been a rebuild. Maybe they've repaired it, right? But they haven't cleaned out the EJ. So there's so many possibilities and maybes. The key point I'm trying to make is we're looking for an P0400. What's caused this? If we can't find something obvious, we're going to have to add cleaning the EJ cooler to the job, which is no big deal. It's just, you know, I mean, it's hard to get in there. You got to disassemble it first. It's a lot of degreaser, soaking, shaking, washing. It's a time waster. It is hard to get in there and get it all clean and then know that it's clean. So it's going to be, it could be an hour or two at least wasted there, plus disassembly, whatever, who knows. Anyway, it's what it is. It'll be beautiful in the end, fingers crossed. And that's a video because it's got really long. We'll have some more info maybe on this one in another video. So if you don't want to miss that, I'm sure you're already subscribed with the bell on if you've waited this long. And if you haven't, then you know what to do, and smash the like button if you're learning something. We're trying to help you here, educate you about the vehicles and solutions. Thanks for watching. See ya.